number 2, the next step in, learning how to freestyle is learning the concepts, right? So you have these basic angles that I taught in the beginning, and then I start to layer them with concepts, right? So like one of them was, crumbling, another one was hinges, right? All that stuff. What concepts are, they're sort of connects the basic angles to more like extended, more complicated angles that you can't really get to without doing one of these movements, right? And tracing is enough. Tracing is like the most basic one. So like out of here, right, you're sort of trapped in this box when you learn the basic angles. Well, tracing allows you to come up and get, this move, that move, all of these angles that don't come from the basic angles necessarily. And the way that you get there really is you're in the mirror and you're just, you learn one concept, you learn tracing. And you go, okay, what can I do with tracing? Trace, 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 come down, out, up, trace, 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 right? As you practice this, you will be able to get better with just sort of understanding where you can trace in the angles that you get to. And the tracing is like the easiest way to move on from any sort of angle, right? Almost any awkward angle that you can get into can be moved out of or expanded on using tracing. That's one of the easy concepts to sort of like continue on. Things like crumbling and hinges tends to be a little bit harder to move out of, awkward angles. But you still need them to get to angles that you couldn't get to from just tracing or, the basic angles. And so you do the same thing that you did with the basics, is you get into the mirror and you practice that until you're comfortable with just moving like that, really. It doesn't matter if you're doing a lot of creative moves or not doing a lot of creative moves, as long as you're trying to do these concepts and you feel comfortable doing them. Also, same thing, do it to music, turn the music on, try to do these moves on beat. Even if you get stuck somewhere, it doesn't matter. Just know that, anywhere you can trace out of, right? Like when you're here, I don't know, trace, 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 trace out, trace in, and do that to music. Make sure you're matching the bass hits and the snares, or maybe like synth sounds if you're trying to get more complicated. But yeah, that's how you expand using these concepts, and that's how you move on, from the basic angles. But you have to get comfortable with the basic angles first, so that you're able to feel cool doing these, right? Because it's like you're not really like performing if you don't, feel good about the moves, and it'll show when you perform them. If you don't feel good doing the moves, and you don't feel cool, or you're not comfortable doing them, you will look like you're not comfortable doing them, or you don't feel cool doing them, because you won't look cool. That's how dancing works. You don't look cool when you look at yourself in the video, so you don't feel cool, and then you don't perform well, and you just spiral down, right? You want to go up. So just going into it, you want to feel confident about what you're doing, because the basic tutting angles aren't hard. So you shouldn't feel like overwhelmed, Like you'll see yourself going to the beat, you'll feel all right. So just build on that and try to get more comfortable with that. So after concepts, let's go to number 3.